Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome to our Saturday demo here at Woodcraft Spokane. Today we're going to talk about bench grinders, in particular a low-speed bench grinder, which is very versatile for your shop. Talk about some accessories and then for different sharpening things, and then we'll talk about a little bit of maintenance that you can do on your machine here. Okay. Low-speed grinder, what that means is that it's going to run at 1725 RPM opposed to 3450, which a standard bench grinder is going to run at. The lower speed is going to help keep your tools cooler and not grind so much off so they can last longer. And we want to keep them cool so that they don't distemper the metal, so they stay hard for keeping a sharp edge on there. Okay, nice thing, this Rikon low-speed bench grinder, 8-inch wheels. It comes with, I believe it's a 60 grit and a 120 grit white wheel on there. These are great for sharpening your wood turning tools and also reestablishing bevels on your bench planes and your chisels. Okay. This normally has a couple of tool rests on here, and those tool rests are okay for some tool straight edge stuff, maybe your lawn garden equipment. You can always upgrade those. One item is a better tool rest. This is from Veritas. This actually wraps slightly around your wheel, and then that can, in conjunction with this guy here, can keep you at 90 degrees, skews at 30 degrees either direction, and so for narrow chisels and for plain irons, this is going to help keep you square to the wheel. This one is item number 153365 for the grinder tool rest from Veritas, and item number 153366, the straight grinding jig in conjunction with that, both from Veritas. So this would be a major improvement over the standard tool rests that come on your grinder. For wood turners out there, and I don't have the number for it, but the Wolverine grinding jig, this is what it looks like set up, and we haven't finished setting this up in our classroom here. I've got parts on the bench. But what you get are these two clamping bases. They get mounted underneath the wheel, and then so for I think it's about $90, you get the two clamping bases, you get the long V tool rest, and you get a very nice adjustable tool rest. And for wood turners out there, this is super simple to use, easy to set up. Out of that box, you can sharpen spindle gouges, roughing gouges, and if you want to do by hand, some scrapers and some skews with the tool rest. Some added accessories on there if you are into skews. This guy right here clamps right onto the V rest in order to sharpen skews. And then there are a couple other accessories here. The Verigrind and Verigrind 2, these are going to be for sharpening your long fingernail grind bowl gouges. And the big difference, both of them sharpen the same exact tool. The big difference is that this one sits on the V rest that comes with the base jig and allows you to sweep the tool back and forth across the entire surface of the wheel. And then this one actually has its own mount that fits into the clamping base, and this stays centered on the wheel. And so you're just going back and forth in the middle on there. But with those accessories, you should be able to sharpen all of your turning tools. Okay. I do have in here, I brought a couple extra things. As far as jigs go, Tormek, this is an addition you can add on to your bench grinder, any bench grinder, and what it does is it gives you this toolbar. And if you're familiar with Tormek, they use this toolbar for all of their jigs. And that means that for wood turners, they sell all these individually. But this wood turner's toolkit here comes with some accessories that really only work with the Tormek, but which would be these leather hones, the setting gauge, and the cover. But these other ones, and why I brought it in here, is with that toolbar, you have the multi-jig, which is great for skews. You have, for skews on there, and then also if you take that apart, it works with some larger gouges. They have the gouge jig, which is going to be for spindle gouges and for long fingernail grind gouges. They have another tool platform here, which is really great for scrapers. And then the small tool jig, I believe it is, or no, excuse me, that's part of the multi-jig. So those 4 accessories, which they do separately, will work in conjunction with that toolbar, so you have some repeatability on your bench grinder. Guys, not doing turning tools, but for a lot of people that are doing knives and other sharp edged tools, there's the hand tool kit. And I don't think there's anything in here that's not going to work with the bench grinder. This will set you up for doing knives, long knives, short knives, axes, and also scissors, and then the small or short tool jig, which I find really handy for carving tools. Now, that being said, this is really great for carving tools and with the finer grit wheel, and for plane irons and bench chisels, or even any of these, if you're building your own knives or axes and that, for establishing a primary bevel. Not going to get fine enough typically with wheels on a bench grinder here in order to do your final honing, but great for establishing primary bevels on there. And these jigs in conjunction with the toolbar will really help out a lot with that. A couple other things here. Eventually your wheel is going to wear out, so you can get good replacement wheels from Norton to fit right on there. And they're going to come in anything from about 40 grit or so on up to 150 grit. And they're just that good white wheel on there. And then also, especially for turners, where you may be worried about overheating your tool, CBN wheels, these dissipate heat immediately. So there's really no chance of overheating a tool. We have them for both 6 and 8 inch grinders. These are at, good enough for turning tools. I don't remember what they're sitting at, around 120 or so grit. Can you see it on there, Joel? Because I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. But, oh, here we go. They are right at 120 grit on these wheels. And they dissipate the heat, so you're not going to have any trouble with overheating your tools there. The other thing that is maintenance. So as you use these wheels, and can't really show you on here because this is brand new, it's just a little dirty, but particles get built up in there. It's going to be from whatever you're sharpening, your metal, your aluminum, deburring stuff, whatever. It's going to build up into the wheel, and it's not going to perform as well. It's going to overheat your tool, and we want to try and prevent that. So there's a couple items that are out there. One of them is a dressing stone, and it just looks like a stone that you can press up against there. I highly recommend having a tool rest on there so that it's sitting on the tool rest, and then you can go back and forth on here, and that will clean the wheel. The other thing you can use is a truing tool. This is a 36 grit. They also have one at 120 grit. Of course, the coarser it is, the more material it's going to remove on there. And this will also clean that surface and help flatten it. There are, however, a couple other things that I would recommend, and unfortunately I did not have them here today to bring in and show you, where this or the dressing stone are going to flatten the surface and clean it, but it's not necessarily going to be parallel to anything. With Tormek, they have a diamond truing device that will actually sit parallel with the bar to your stone face and actually true that stone face up so it's flat and square and parallel to the bar. Wolverine from One Way, they have one as well that attaches through their base and has a diamond in there. So not only is it going to clean it, but it's going to make it flat, square, / parallel to the toolbar surface. And in between, if you need to, it doesn't hurt to blow it out with some air. Maybe when you first get your wheels, it may be a little out of balance. The truing stone, the dressing stones, or any of those products from Tormek or Wolverine, if you have the toolbar or the Wolverine jig, will flatten those surfaces and make them so that they're running true and round. A lot of times the center bore on these wheels are 4 5/8 of an inch arbor, which is what these have, but they have some plastic inserts in there and they may not be perfectly balanced. So when you get it turned on, if it seems like it's bouncing around, true it up and that'll help keep it round. How? Question what?
How do you use that?
Oh, how do we use this? Again, you'll want your tool rest, and because you don't want to hold this up there by hand without support on there. It's going to grab it, it's going to chuck it, maybe pull you into it. So have your tool rest, whether it be the one that the machine comes with, the Wolverine tool rest, the tool rest from Tormek. Have that close, within about a 1/16 of an inch or so of your wheel. You're going to set this on the tool rest so it has support and push in and lightly go back and forth to clean it up and true it. Do we have any questions out there from our viewers at all? No questions? All right. I wish there was more I can tell you at this time. If you have any questions, please hit us up on Facebook, come into our store, give us a call. We are here to help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.